Hello everyone, it's another episode of Smite Insight. I'm here with Ashley, with BrokenBlade that I have not talked to for a while, and Flakked, my little boy from last year that is exposing me in front of everyone right now because clearly Team Heretics is doing better without me. Welcome guys.
Yeah, thank you once again for joining us. Always wanted to talk to both of you guys, and ever since watching the PGL segment, I'm like, it would be a best possible chance to bring you guys all together and talk a bit about LEC, talk a bit about the past experiences you guys had, yeah, talk about League of Legends, everything in general. What time is it in Europe, by the way?
It's 10 p.m. right now.
It's 10,
Oh
yeah.
my god. Like, I was always curious, what is like the daily schedule for LEC players like?
Do you want me to go? Or we have
Yeah, you
different
can go
schedules.
with
Well, I can't, so
Because,
it's up to you guys. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you, so good.
I mean, the day starts, like the official scrim day starts at 12, I guess at noon. So I have a little meeting for 30 minutes, and then we have food. And then it starts at 1, and we have, we had 2 blocks, 1 game of 5, and 1 block of 5 and 1 block of 2. Some teams scrimmed in the morning. We didn't scrim in the morning. Some teams scrimmed at night. We were the team scrimming at night. I think Heretics was scrimming in the morning.
Yep.
Maybe you can say why as well.
Thank you for doing my job, baby.
I mean, some teams prefer in the morning, some teams prefer in the night, and yeah. I mean, our day starts at 11, but we probably finish earlier than Vivi.
Okay.
But do you have exactly the same schedule, but you just instead of playing a night block, you play a morning block? And does it
I mean,
feel?
it's like we start. Yeah. I mean, we didn't do morning block. Sorry, for like a bit of time already.
Oh.
I think some teams they just dropped it. We didn't drop it. Some teams dropped it, but I think I mean on when we had like the morning blocks, we were starting the day at like 10, and then we have like 30-minute meeting, and then 10:30 is like when the actual scrim starts, and then we have like break for food, and then we play the other 5 games.
Would you guys say that that's a better system than it was present for the last couple of years? So the 6 games that would just start, I think last year was it 1 p.m. start or 2 p.m. start even, and then you just play 6 games.
I mean, I think the system is like it takes more of your day, like of time, but you get 1 more scrim, which is nice. Also, you get like you play 2 different teams. You never play the same team twice, so you get variety. You don't meta game the scrim block. So I think it's good. I mean, it's better for the teams as of getting better. I think right now we're doing fearless, so we're back to the old schedule, but we're doing like two blocks basically of 3. So it's not like the last year schedule, but the schedule before that, I think. Right? With this 3 and 3.
3 and 3 because you do 2 fearless drafts, 2 separate fearless drafts basically. And do you do a bit of a break in between, or?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
30-40 minutes break.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to Korea, except I think we have a longer break where people grab like an early dinner and go back to scrim for the second block, and then people usually stay up until like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to play solo queue, because I think from midnight to 3 a.m. is when solo queue is the most active. What's up, BB?
No, nothing. I think so.
Okay, you have to, like, I would just give it a heads up. Like, sometimes when they look at each other and they laugh, it's probably because they're looking at each other, or maybe they're also typing to each other without us saying it. But like,
I'm not typing.
but like, I'm just saying, like, these two, like, they're like the biggest rats. Okay, like they're like 2 little brothers just giggling about everything. So whenever they like just look at the camera and laugh, they're probably just like having a meme between themselves out of nowhere.
Well, there's no way, by the way.
Yeah.
I was just smiling because like if I stay until like 4 a.m. playing solo queue, I'm getting mega flamed. But in Korea, when I went to Korea, I had like mega degenerate schedule, and I mean I can tell for sure like 3, 4 a.m., 2 a.m. it was like 30-second queue.
That's when like the pro players and the trainees and the academy players, it's then when they're playing all the solo queue.
Wait, Bibi, what time do you normally go to sleep in Europe? Don't you have like a very, like, I guess, not a non-Korean schedule for a pro player? As of like
I
what time?
changed my schedule actually.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I used to wake up early, right? So like, I think you might remember. But nowadays, I CB8 like the early morning games. I feel like they're very, very useless. So I sleep at 2 now, 2 a.m. usually. And then I wake up. We have exercise in the mornings. Some teams don't do it. I don't know if Korean teams do it, like exercise, but we do it.
Depends on the team. Like, are you talking about the group exercise or like a slot
Yeah,
where players
we do like
go
a
to-
group exercise. And I also do individual like extra exercise, like a bit more strength training, like once or twice a week. Not too much, but just a little bit. You know, get the blood pumping a little bit, get a little buzz.
And there is like a lot of
So-
study that like, you know, cardio as well as non-cardio is really good for like, you know, mental focus. In terms of the Korean teams, I think I haven't heard of any team that does group exercises regularly. I have heard of some teams that really promote the players to go to the gym. Some teams, not every single team. So I
Yep.
guess like Korean teams, as far as I know, don't take exercises as serious or put as much emphasis on it compared to the LEC or the LCS teams that I talk to. Do you think that is really important part of being a professional player and helping you stay focused?
I mean, for me, I definitely think it helps. Like, it makes you feel better. I mean, if you look at me 2 years ago, you can see a clear difference as well with how I looked. But I think you don't necessarily have to look good to play well, but you definitely feel better. Like, your body, it just feels nicer, you know? Like, I feel like I would used to have like random aches, like on my back or something, but ever since I started doing exercise, I just feel better, which makes sense.
What do you think, Flakked?
I mean, I think it's kind of the same for me. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I used to be like really focused on like, I mean, Jankos can tell or like Baby can tell that really focus on just like playing the game basically, or just like do something like involved with league and like things like gym and stuff. I wouldn't go that much or like I wouldn't go at all. But I mean, this year for sure I started to go to the gym like more regularly. I'm going like, I mean, I'm going like 4-5 times a week. I mean, whenever I can, I'm going. But I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you feel better. It's true though that when I go gym, I really hate it and I feel terrible about it. But I mean, it's true for sure that at the end of the day, it for sure it is good to just like decompress a bit, like all the stress from the day, all the stress from the scrims. I mean, I'm not stressed anymore because Jankos is not my jungle, so now actually I'm like really happy. But it's just overall. I mean, I'm either like going to the gym or just going for like long walks. I'm trying to do like like some daily steps every day, and just to like clear my mind or something. But I mean, for sure, I think has like positive impact to spend some time on taking a bit more care of your body and health.
But do you think that's because, are you doing these things for yourself, or are you doing these things because Heretics is requiring you to go gym? Because you said you hate it, right?
No.
You actually enjoy
No,
it?
yeah, I mean,
low-key, kind
I
of.
mean, Heretics, yeah, I mean, if you remember in Heretics, right, if you go to the gym like X times a month, they just paid for you. So they're kind of like doing that, like they promote their players to go to the gym, but they don't enforce it or anything. But I mean, I'm just going because I just wanted to try, and as well, I mean, like these holidays, I've been a bad boy when it comes to like eating, and I became like a bit too fat. So I was just trying to give it a shot and give it a try to go into the gym, and yeah, I mean, I'm going with some people as well, so it helps always to go with someone else. But yeah, I mean, I don't like necessarily like going to the gym, but it's true though that like after all the workout sessions and stuff, I do feel like like I'm doing like something good for myself, even though I don't really like it.
I do think it could help in the longevity of the player, right? Because I think there's many players in the past that had wrist issues, for example, right? But if you strengthen your wrist a little bit, and I suppose you are more fit overall, I do think that can help to I guess enable your bug or just enable you to just sit at your PC for the 12 hours that normally you guys probably spend every day grinding solo queue right now, or scrims. I'm not into that anymore as much. I don't have to play I do like 8 hours of solo queue, but I don't really like the time you use as a streamer to do these things and the time you use as a player. I still feel like I am grinding a lot, but compared to you guys, it's like nothing. It's probably like 3-4 hours, 5 hours less a day, which makes such a huge difference. And I think, Ashley, you know that, but Faker had wrist issues, right? I don't know if any of you guys, I think Flakked you didn't, but did you ever like feel any back pains or wrist pains or anything that like you had to stretch extra during your career so far? Or was it like smooth? And you did the gym because you just feel better?
I had the wrist pain before. Like it was like a burning sensation around my wrist. Like at this spot, like, but it just, I went away after. Like I did exercises, you know, like some stretching exercises. With the back, it was the same. I feel like whenever I was sitting too much, I just had lower back pain all the time, and it always felt really bad. And since I did like exercises, like even when we started doing it a bit in 2022, I felt like they were going away more. And now I barely have just random, like my body doesn't hurt randomly anymore. You know, it's so I can focus more on playing, I guess.
Yeah. Do you guys remember back in 2020 when Deft had that huge back issue? And then
No.
Do you guys remember?
No. I remember Faker like stepping down, but
Okay, like, you know, Deft had like a huge back issue, and this was, I think, 5 years ago. So when Korean teams were taking exercises less seriously, I think that's one thing that they're kind of behind compared to the Western teams. And Deft had a habit of like grinding solo queue for like 20 hours if he wasn't happy with his own performance, right? So he had one of those sessions, and when he was like, you know, he was like in immense back pain, and he couldn't even like barely play. And like he later mentioned that he was feeling a bit depressed because he feels like the one way that he would use to get out of slump was actually hurting him, like just grinding a lot of solo queue. But I think he eventually recovered. He went to Live Esports and he worked out a lot, and then he's been doing rehabilitation, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So apparently he's also feeling better.
That's a good plan.
yeah, that's good for him. And I also do think more and more players are taking this more seriously, at least in the West, right? And considering Faker had such a long career and also had to step down last year because of his wrists, then I'm pretty happy that, you know, people are taking health more seriously nowadays in esports. Even this little rat that refused to go gym every single day last year. But suddenly I leave the team and going gym 5 times a week. But I cannot verify it. But going it.
Okay. Like, my only reference going to the gym in that team was you going to the gym like twice, 3 times a week maybe.
Bro, I was going to the gym like
getting Waffle Brothers. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
But yeah, at least like last year we had the system in Heretics where I think we would get points for going gym because people had to like score the like amount of points. I don't know if you guys have enforced solo queue in G2. But we had, I'm not sure if Heretics has it this year, but we had something where we would need a certain amount of points to be active during a week, and things like exercising would give us points. Obviously, most points you got from just grinding solo queue, right? So technically, if you played a lot like Flakked did, he didn't really have to do anything else. I don't know if G2 as a team does have anything like that, where you guys have to play a certain amount of games a week, for example, or is it more chill, but you have to grind a lot? Because I think G2 is like the most famous, for the past 2 years at least, for having like a very strict schedule where you guys are, you know, mostly spending time in the game. And why are you guys smiling like this? Like
Nothing, bro.
I'm just watching those guys smiling at each other.
Well, we have like requirements. We track a lot of stuff. Like we track we have not enforced. I guess enforced is not like it means when you force someone on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or enforcing something.
I guess
It's like a rule.
Okay. But for us, like we encourage talking with each other, right? Like not in the game, like outside of the game, we have like a one-on-one meetings. Like Jankos knows those as well. Flakked knows those as well. We had some of those back in the day as well. But we keep track of those now. So the more you do that, the more it is okay for you to have less solo queue games. But if you don't do any of the extra stuff, which is, for example, some 1v1 sessions, like in-game now. There's 1v1 in-game, like for me. There's one-on-ones. There's certain team activities. We like to track those things so we can see what we are actually doing with our time. And then there's so obviously solo queue tracking. That's the easiest to track because you just see what games you play. We do have obviously like an expected amount. I think for us it's around 30 to 40 games in a week with our schedule. I think every team has a different schedule. But for us, if you play at least 30 to 40, it's like no one will be like mad at you. But the moment it gets lower, some people will be like, hey, why is it low? You know, like, and we have a discussion. Never negative usually. I mean, usually it's never negative. There has been some times where I was like slacking as well, and then you get told to you know, like I feel like you do this to have accountability, which is really good, I think, for someone who wants to win. Like we want to win, so obviously you need to be able to be accountable to what you're doing. So I really like the system. We have created the system together. Everyone is aligned with this. We have built it over the years, so I'm very happy with it.
So in total, how many hours per week are you spending in League of Legends?
I mean, I don't know. I think if I okay, let me just put it that way. If I take time off, it's usually 30 minutes to 1 hour in a day. The rest of the day I play, and if I don't play, I either read mangas, or I play the piano. That's the only thing I do. On my day off, I spend time with my girlfriend. That's what I do. Not the whole day usually. I have came to the conclusion also with feedback that I play worse if I don't play for a whole day. So I try to get some games in my off day.
You guys talking to each other? Oh my god.
No, but
okay, Phoebe, you have my total interest and I am listening to you.
no, I as I said, I play. Just not exercise. Exercise is not about League. I would say from 1 p.m. to 2 a.m. usually I think about League. And in between in between queues I read mangas or I watch Jankos streams, for example. You know.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, not doing that, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the shout out.
So subscribe to Jankos Law at Twitch. But Flakked, is it quite similar for you? Like, you know, people sometimes say, oh yeah, the European players are slacking, but when I hear what Phoebe is saying, it does sound like the schedule is not too different from what Korea is.
I mean, I think they say that usually because, you know, they have the example of Jankos we have here. So it's like, there's always streaming.
Bro, like I'm just saying, like I was probably the hardest worker in Heretics last year when it comes to sheer amount of solo queue games played. Actually, okay, besides Flakked, I guess, but you can't really like beat him easily.
Okay. Yeah, know your limits, bro. I mean, to me, it's kind of the same. It's just yeah. I mean, I think the only time I'm not doing like anything related to League is when I'm just going gym, and yeah. Besides from that, I don't really do anything much. Like in some of this, I mean, one of the I went with BB, right? But the rest of the of this is just me playing solo queue or like doing whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just mostly of the day. Like ever since I wake up, and yeah, I mean until I go bed, unless I have to go gym or do something else like content or something, I'm just being in League basically.
It is definitely a full-time job.
But this is partially, in my opinion, how actually I just can't my god, like when I see BB smile and I see Flakked smile, like I still have PTSD from 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago, by the way, and I can't focus. I actually just can't focus. I'm getting like triggered for no reason, actually. But yeah, I feel like these things are actually very good, and it's a good atmosphere because in a way you are doing this for yourself. In any way, you're like grinding that much League of Legends and you are thinking about League of Legends. to be the best version of yourself in the team you are in, but also to like push your team forward, right? So this kind of brings me to the next question. Will be, is this kind of team atmosphere something you guys are aiming for, where everybody is doing these things because he enjoys doing them and because everyone is pushing each other to win, and sometimes you are just trying to help it? And is this the atmosphere that you need to actually win games, to be the best? Maybe we can start with BB, because clearly Flakked has not been the best for a while now.
I think
Well,
I think the atmosphere that you need and that you want are two different things. I think for the atmosphere that you need is like you need to face difficult situations, right? Like I think there's no team that never had like a little slump, you know. Like even T1, I think they were like looking bad for like a bit and then they just win worlds. And for us, we also like we're losing. Like last year, was it last year? No, last year we won everything in Europe. But the year before that,
Nice
we
flex.
lost the split, right?
Oh yeah.
We lost the split, and there was for us a big slump. So we have to rebuild the structure, and for us, it's having hard conversations, you know. And I feel like the moment someone on your team, or like if anything is like the mood is really bad, I feel like most players, and I'm gonna say most players because I believe it's most players, will just be like, fuck this, you know, I'm just not gonna deal with this. They will go home earlier, or they will just play less solo queue every day because they get triggered. And for us, we really don't like that. And our staff is very good at seeing this and also handling it well, and like delivering the message. So we can like talk about it, because I feel like as long as the structure is aligned with everyone else, you can work around it. And at the end of the year, one team will have the best structure, right? That won worlds, right? Most of the time, at least. So we are building towards that. I do think it's fun. Sometimes it's not fun. But when it's not fun, it's the most important to have a good structure, I think.
So I know that, like, you know how a lot of players often talk about, yeah, we have a good atmosphere, like, you know, we're trying to get to a good atmosphere. Would you define good atmosphere, like, in the competitive sense? Something with a good structure and where everyone is motivated, that they continue to do their own, like, you know, do the solo queues, do the one-on-ones, and do the practices, etc. Is that a definition of a good atmosphere?
I think a good atmosphere can be, I think it's very relative. You know, I think teams can have a good atmosphere by not spending any time with each other, right? But also everyone is clearly working on to be the best. Like I value a lot of time with the team, like spending a little bit of time like in a week, like if it's 30 minutes to an hour to like get outside of League, but also still spend time with the human beings around you, so you can like understand each other better. Because I feel like it's gonna help you in tough situations, you know, when you feel like you're an actual team. But that is just my way of seeing a healthy atmosphere. Some other like player might be like, you just have to do everything in order to win, which is, for me, if they think that is obviously fine and understandable and respectable. So I think it's relative, if that answers your question.
I think it kind of does, and I think I wanna bring it up to Flakked, because I saw one of your interviews after winning, I believe, against MKOI, the big comeback you guys had on stage. I think in week 2, maybe, perhaps, was it?
Nope.
And you spoke in an interview about how the atmosphere in the team improved so much compared to last year. We are not gonna mention who was the problem here, of course. That's not the point. The point is, how would you, like, what do you think exactly changed? Not who. What do you think exactly changed for the atmosphere to get better in Team Heretics from you know, last year to this year? And why do you like it so much more? And do you think that is gonna help you long term to actually get the results you guys want to get?
I mean, I think I'm like happier this year. I mean, as well, like, I mean, last year I had like other things going on as well, like outside of League, that was like, you know, a bit hard to deal with. But as well, like this year, I think I'm happier in this team, because I feel like the values of this team align with what I, you know, what I consider myself as a player and as a human being, and what I want to achieve as well competing. So to me, it's just, we brought 3 rookies, and like 2 of them are like really young, so they bring like a lot of motivation. They bring a lot of they're like really willing to improve and invest time, and yeah, I mean as well, like Sheo is not like streaming every day solo queue for 6 hours. No, I'm joking. But it's just, to me, I feel like I'm more connected with these teammates, because they, I mean, basically to me, this like life or death kinda, like how I see League. Like League is, it sounds depressing, but League is just my life. These are the choices I made in life. But with these people, I really see they have like a lot of commitment, and they really want to invest a lot of time on trying to get everything, to be better. So I just see myself like when I was younger on the young rookies, and I can see they have like a lot of motivation, and it just puts a smile on my face. So I think that's like the main reason why I think I'm happier this year.
So basically, when people become old and washed, you don't want to work with them anymore because they have no motivation and they are just there to get paid.
I mean, I think like motivation is not related to age or mechanics. But
okay, I was just trolling. I was just trolling. I actually want to.
It's fine. It's just some people, like their motivation is just money and viewership, and some other people's motivation is just to be actually, a competent team.
Okay, so your motivation is to be a competent team, but did you see yourself or? But yeah, I mean, the question I actually wanted to ask, since I want to follow up on what you said, right? The leadership. You are now one of the oldest players in the team. You guys brought 3 rookies, and I believe that you and Shio are probably the main faces of the team as of like. Shio worked in a successful team in BDS. They went to Worlds multiple times. They were like definitely higher in the standings than we were for the last 2 years. And then you come in as well. You have some experience working with talented players like Caps, like BB. So how do you two, maybe starting off with Flakked, how do you view yourself as a leader in the team? And did you try to teach some of the rookies? Are you trying to set an example? Like, how do you see yourself in that matter?
I mean, I had good learnings from Jankos' leadership, no cap. I mean, I said in some interviews, especially I think it was like Spanish media, that I did learn some things about you. I mean, as well, I don't think leaders should be trying to cancel scrims every day, but that's
what, bro? Well, no.
This is something that actually have. Okay.
But I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm not like really sure about like how Sheo is like doing like like how he wants to try to like lead the rookies when it comes to like individual, because I mean it's just one-on-one. If he wants to talk to Camilo or Stan or Carson one-on-one, I don't know what they're talking about. But at least like talking for myself, I'm always trying to I mean, when we were in bootcamp in Madrid, I was talking to them a lot about just LEC, the first days, how's it gonna go, like the kind of emotions they can have, and that is just fine, like doesn't matter like which way their body reacts to what's going on. It's just it's just an emotion. You need to accept it, and you need to deal with it, and you need to work on it. But as well, I was just guiding them a bit. I mean, when it comes to like in game, I think Sheo is like more of like the shot caller, but like purely talking outside the game, I'm just talking about them. How is it gonna go, and especially when it comes to what Bibi mentioned, the tough moments. I'm always the one trying to like open up the conversations, and like to basically to start the conversations that you feel they need to be going, but they are either afraid of just speaking up, or maybe they're like too emotional, and then they need like a bit of help to to actually express what they want to express in a productive way. So yeah, I'm basically just trying to be the best teammate for them, and just trying to help them to just become better teammates. Sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. And you, BB,
Okay,
you guys got Skewmont, right, to the team. Labrov, maybe slightly more experience, also ex-BDS player, but Skewmont coming in from LFL. I think there was a similar situation with Yike about 2 years ago, or I guess 3 years ago at this point. So how would you compare the difference in Yike coming in, and did you like learn anything over the course of playing with Yike the early months that you could imply to Skewmon to help him feel comfortable within the team? Guys, like I can't. Well, like I'm trying to ask a serious question, and then I see this rats smiling. But yeah,
I'm smiling, and he follows.
To cut in, like, what did BB and Flakked used to do back in the team environment that would trigger you so much, Jankos?
Yeah, he was getting triggered by everything. It was crazy.
Okay. So back then, I was like, my responsibility was to be adult of the team, and they were just the kids of the team. And as you can see, as you can understand, when you are trying to be like the serious person, and then there's like the two guys that are like the least serious people, there's no clash, but yeah, it was. It wasn't anything in particular. They just had a lot of good memes, or at least they thought the memes are good. There was different things at
bangers.
different times.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm definitely like I've matured a lot since then. Also, I have to say that I also learned some stuff from Jankos on how he deals with difficult situations. I looked up a lot on Jankos for that. I feel like if you were not there for these certain tough talks, it could have been much harder. So I feel like this is something that I brought as well to my new teams. And the difference between Yai coming in and Skewman coming in, I feel like the biggest one is that Yike was a lot more shy when he came in, like as a personality. I mean, obviously here now, personality is a lot, like it's a really big factor in like how you go into the team, because first you need to understand how the person is like behaving on like a daily basis, how he's behaving in when you're winning, when you're losing. And I think this is something that I knew now, like okay, with like Skewman coming in, this is my goal to like figure out, and same with Lavrov. And for me, who is now looked at as the leader as well, then I have to make this my goal, and also showing trying to separate emotions from like the game, to then also being able to engage conversations that are difficult. Like when something is not good, you have to ask them the hard questions, to like make them speak their mind. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do at least. Obviously, there's different ways of, I think, leading, right? When it comes to like in-game, I don't necessarily think a leader has to be a shot caller. I think shot calling is very like broad. I feel like you can do like I think the best shot calling system is the guy who's winning, knows how to win the game, and then he tells you how to win nowadays. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. But anyway, this is a different topic. I'm doing the speeches, for example, nowadays. We didn't do it in 2022 as much. I remember we did it with our old manager Ruff. But now it's like a ritual. We have to do it, and I have to come up with something. And I always look like, what do we need for the day, or like how is everyone behaving? Do we need more energy? Do we need to be more calm because everyone's super excited? We're playing against BLG. Do I need to calm them down? Because that's also like important, and I need to also at the same time think how I am feeling and how I have to show myself to the rest. And I get a lot of support from the whole staff, especially from Main and Isma when it comes to leadership. They really tell me if I'm doing well or not, and they really give me a lot of good advice on like what I can do to be better at what I'm doing. And it is a lot of responsibility, because now I don't only have to work on my in-game related stuff on how to be a better player, but also how to be a better teammate. That's it.
Yes, we are so into your speech that we just wanted to listen more. There was one thing you said that seemed interesting and also reminded me of Heretics. So Flakked, clearly you are not playing against BLG. You are in fact losing to Rogue. But the question I wanted to ask you is basically, I wanted to flame you first and foremost, but I wanted to ask you, do you guys do speeches? Do you think that helps? Because it seems like for BB at least, or in G2, it's core part of themselves. You, BB, are responsible for speeches for, I think, for the past 2 years, right? You started doing them in 23, sorry, and then all the way to 14, 15 now. And I believe we also had something related to speeches last year where I was the one that was responsible for them, but they were not. Wait, sorry, what? What was that? So I was.
Just from BB's background.
Okay, sorry. So, Flakked, do you guys still do speeches? Do you think that's something important? Do you think you need to like extra motivate yourself and get yourself in the zone before the game? Or is it something that you guys forgot about as Team Heretics and you do more of a 3-to-1 shout and then you go on stage and you do it?
I did like some speeches the first weeks, or I think it was the first week that like Machuki told me to come with something prepared for the match.
Oh, and that's how you guys lost to Rogue and then you abandoned it.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess. But now I think it's just more Machuki doing the speeches, but as well I'm kinda in the I kinda feel BB when he mentioned the part of analyzing how everyone is feeling and how they're behaving when they go to the studio. And sometimes after Machuki is saying his speech, I maybe add like some comments, just like either a reminder or like it can just be a simple like let's go, just to motivate people. But I think it's more to Machuki, the guy always doing the speeches. But I'm for sure if I see someone like really sleepy or like really stressed, I always say to either I go to the guy and talk to him one-on-one and just like what's happening or what's going on, or I just say something on the huddle before doing the 1-2-3. So we're kind of doing the same thing, but it's just not me doing the speeches. Is mostly the coach.
I think that something you brought up that was like very important to point out specifically for me was the fact that you mentioned sometimes you point out people by their name. Maybe something that BB does as well a little bit, but I think when you point out people by their own name and they like try to bring them back into the zone and bring them into the game, I think that can be very helpful before games, because some games are more stressful and the game is very important. Some games the game might not be as important. In case you win a lot maybe, but then you want to really make sure that people are locked in and focused on the game. So I do think that your observation skills and in case of you feel something's not right with the team or some player is feeling a little bit off, and then addressing him and talking with him, I think that's very, very helpful. So I think you should keep on doing that. It's good.
You say it from a pro player perspective or a streamer perspective?
I say it from like someone who worked in teams for 10 years, but also as someone who is currently pretty much this.
Okay.
Random question to BB and Flakked. What kind of teammate was Jankos?
Oh!
I mean,
do you want to know actually?
It's not a draft.
We might just cut it from the video. It depends what you say. You have to, like, if you say good things, we will keep it.
Okay, we'll start with BB.
You can go
What kind of team was Jankos?
Yeah.
Oh, so,
Bro! What kind of team was that?
I think Jankos. Okay, the one thing that I didn't like about Jankos was he would always say the opposite of what he was actually saying. So when he said any jungle is pathing top, he actually meant bot lane.
Thanks.
You remember this? You remember this,
jungle,
right? Like,
jungle tracking completely lost them up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It still happens. Sometimes I say Baron and I mean Drake. Yeah, it happens.
Oh my
but
god.
I think Jankos was like, he was a leader, but at the same time like a comedic relief character, because he would just perma-fart in the room.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
That was like
Really
his
disgusting.
that was like his go-to punchline. And it was really funny. He would always go to the gym in the morning. He would also run from the gym back home to stream sometimes. a lot of commitment as for a player. I respected it. Jankos was also encouraging us to spend time together, mostly watch some stuff, anime, and eat ice cream. Also eating a kiwi with the skin on for some reason. I don't understand how you can do that.
Goated.
But yeah, I would say Jankos was definitely one of the best teammates I've had. Yeah.
So all it
No,
takes is
no,
farting.
we have to
All
agree.
it takes is farting in the room, and then you get like a good teammate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I mean the farting, the gameplay, the the ice cream abusing. But yeah, I agree with Bibi though. I think Jankos is one of the best teammates you can ever have. I did not get paid to say this. I truly mean it. But yeah, I mean, I think what Bibi said kinda. I don't think there's like many more things to add. I mean, I think Bibi mentioned it, but I really want to emphasize, his commitment to streaming and completely ignoring the team. I think that was really good. That is really true. But I think not capping right now. I think I mean for sure Jankos is I think is one of the best teammates I ever had, and it's always someone I looked up to. But I agree though that even though he didn't want, and I mean something we talked about in G2 that year as well. I remember, I think Jankos in that team was kind of like a natural leader, but he didn't want to be the leader. Maybe I'm trolling Jankos, but I think that's what happened kinda. Because I remember sometimes you were saying that you didn't want to be the leader.
Would you agree with that, Jankos?
Yeah.
No?
I mean, I think back then I didn't want to be one, but I became one. But I also don't I think in some of the crucial moments, which I think were the 2 international tournaments we had, which was MSI and Worlds, I think I kind of failed my job as a leader. Even though I did some good things, especially on MSI, I also did a lot of bad things, and we are not gonna bring that up. But there was the story of the room. And then at Worlds, I think overall I had a pretty poor performance and attitude towards everything. So I definitely the stress got into me back then, and I did not show my best self. And then the 2 years in Heretics, I think I was trying to be, but it was on and off as well, since overall we were not as successful, right? So the stress was, I guess in a way you get, there is more pressure on you when you are not winning, because every week is very, very important, unlike when I guess we were doing very well in G2 back then. So then you had very typical situations, mostly on Worlds and around the international tournaments. Unlike every week could be your last week when you don't make playoffs, right? For example.
We often look at teams that win LEC, LCK, LPL, LTA, Worlds, and a lot of things have to come together for those teams. It could be meta, it could be teamwork, it could be different sets of personalities coming together, it could even be luck and or the group draw or anything like that. How big of a factor is team atmosphere or momentum for a team to become not just a good team but a champion? In terms of percentage even, I don't know.
I mean I think I mean sorry I interrupted. Ashley, did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. I mean I think it's
So polite, man.
yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, okay. I interrupted, guys. You didn't need to laugh, baby. It's
I'm
fine.
also sorry for interrupting
But,
you.
it's fine. I don't mind. I mean, I think team. I mean, maybe back in the days, I'm not sure, but I really think. I mean, this is how I think. I'm not sure, right? Because I didn't go to World Finals. I didn't, play insane, huge, important games. But I do think though it's really important to have a good team atmosphere. I don't think you necessarily need to be insane best friends with everyone and just be smiling and laughing with everyone. But it's kind of going back to what Bibi mentioned about the the tough talks. There are some moments that there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and people can react different. But I think that's when it shows that if you are a good team, if you have the right team atmosphere, if you can manage to go through those moments and still keep the work up and don't let like any bad thoughts or like people dropping their routines or people dropping their intensity that they put every day. I think those are the moments that like tells that you are a good team. But as well, this is talking from like what I think and like my perspective as a player. So I'm not sure if maybe there was a team that won Worlds and they hated each other, but I really doubt it.
Like, this is a random anecdote, but I recently reached out to the limited amount of Worlds winning players that I know of and asked them, hey, what was the team atmosphere like when you won Worlds? And they often tell me that, hey, it went up and down throughout the year, but we happened to ramp up during Worlds, and when we did, it almost felt like we were on a high. We were on a good momentum. It felt interesting, yeah. Like, not every Worlds winning team, I'm not gonna mention a specific team, who are like best friends with each other, it sounds like, but like momentum, which might be slightly different from team atmosphere, seems to be a huge factor on winning. It might not be the only factor, but it seems to be a huge factor. But what do you think, BB? Because you've had so much success in the current G2 roster and you won many championships, and perhaps like team atmosphere was different every time, but would you say there was some consistent factor there that why are you guys laughing?
I think I think momentum is very, like, I don't know if it's a big factor, but it can be a big factor. I think it depends where you are. Like, I feel like when we had a really long win streak. I believe it was 2022 actually. We had like one of the longest win streaks ever actually, and I feel like a lot of that was momentum. But also this momentum, like, it created pressure on keeping the winning streak as well.
And then when the win streak fell, we sorry.
Yeah, when it felt really hard.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think momentum is a very important, like, outside factor. But I also think at the same time, like, luck is very important, right? Like, as you mentioned, like group draw, or whether it's that or enemy player is sick or he's fail flashing right in front of you. Like, these things, that it can happen, and but it's still up to you to use it. And I feel like it's the same with momentum. I think sometimes, like, when we 3-0'd, I think it was JDG actually, and in MSI, we felt really good going into the next game. And I feel like if you didn't 3-0 JDG, maybe we don't make the series this close against T1. I don't know, this is the universe, I will never know. But I definitely think it helped. Just having this feeling that, we just 3-0'd an LPL team, we can win against anyone now, right? I feel like that is really big. And obviously, I feel like that also is there in LEC. I feel like a lot of LEC teams, like especially teams like BDS or SK, they had like really good regular season runs. Like, I feel like SK was like 8-1 or 7-1 or 7-2, and BDS also had like a really good run at some point. But in playoffs, they always like crumbled. I mean, obviously we won most of the time, right? But that is also momentum, and I feel like they are playing better than they actually are on paper. But obviously they are using the momentum well too at the same time. So I do think it's a factor.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Jankos? Because
I mean, I do agree overall. I don't wanna like dwell on it too long, right? But I do think momentum is important, and I do think that many teams that are, I guess, the more you win, the more confident you are in the end, right? And that can snowball into like a very powerful weapon. I also remember, I guess I can bring the same example as BB in 2022 when we lost, I don't even remember which team it was in Spring's playing playoffs.
Buffaloes, no?
No, in playoffs, I mean, yeah. We lost in Spring's playoffs,
It
and
was
then...
Fnatic.
Okay, we lost to Fnatic, and then we kept on winning all the BO5s we had on the way in 3-0, and we knew that basically as soon as we win one BO5, we will get the confidence and the momentum to, I suppose, snowball the whole playoffs, and this is what happened. And I think even now, teams that go, that might go like 3-0 in week 1 of LEC might do better. I suppose it's like a very short question ask for BB, right? Because you guys had a bit of a slow start this year. Do you think that now, after you guys, just went 3-0 in the last week, do you feel much more confident, or is not something you guys actually needed, and you always knew that you can do great things with this roster?
I mean, it was definitely the slowest we've ever been, I feel like, in G2. But I think we just need more time than other like iterations of G2. I feel like we have a lot of crazy potential. So from 1-2 to 2-1 to 3-0, it definitely gives us like evidence that we are good, right? I feel like every year people like expect us to do really well, but it's not because we are G2, but it's like how we work, right? And I think we have to work, not only the talk but also the work. So I feel very good. The momentum is definitely there. Playing against Giants as well, who had momentum. They had momentum, right? They 3-0 the first week, then they dropped it. They actually had really bad, like I think they had 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I would say they dropped their momentum, and we are coming from a momentum. So I'm very curious on how that will unfold.
Yeah, you guys do play each other soon. I mean, soon, but by soon, I mean this weekend, upcoming weekend, right? So very curious about that. Maybe now that we are on the league subject, if I can just lead a little bit here. I'm a little bit curious about both your thoughts on Fearless Draft. From my understanding, in the BO1s, LEC was not, during BO1s, during the 3 weeks of regular season and the preparation coming into regular season, LEC was playing normal drafts. You guys didn't scrim in Fearless mode. Even though all the regions were playing Fearless, LEC was not. In scrims, you guys were playing normal, and then on stage you guys were playing BO1s, which Fearless didn't matter. Now that we are going to playoffs, you guys are actually playing BO3s, and you guys are actually practicing, like you mentioned at the start of the conversation, the Fearless Draft. So what do you guys think about it? How do you think Fearless Draft is going to unfold in LEC? Do you think it's going to be helpful for you, BB? Do you think it's going to be helpful for you, Flakked? Maybe this time we are actually going to start with Flakked, as BB just had a little bit of,
A yapping sesh, yep. I agree with that. I mean, I honestly didn't expect like a Fearless to be that like impactful, I would say, in best of threes. I thought it would be like a bit more standard everything, but actually there's been some games, like number 3 games, that they were like pretty crazy, I would say. So I really like it. I think I think of course like you need a lot of preparation, but I don't think it's I think it's up to like how much enemy team wants to cook, and I think especially if you get to game 3 you can cook a lot, because you can just like, if like the most OP power picks are gone, it's like entering like a new era, basically new meta. And there has been some teams that we practiced this week that it was a bit funny, some game 3s, because there's been like 8 or 9 redrafts in a row. No one knows what's gonna happen, but yeah, for me, I'm like, of course I really like the change, and I'm like positive surprised, because I mentioned like in some interviews that I don't think it's gonna affect that much, but I do think it affects quite a lot actually.
Do you think it's gonna be good? Like, is Fearless gonna be good for Team Heretics, you think?
I think so, yeah. I think it's gonna be good as long as you have just like preparation. I think it's like, of course, preparation doesn't matter that much if at the end of the day you play really bad, but I think for sure you can like cook a lot of things, and I think as long as you have like really good plans, and especially in draft you are like really aware of what you want to do and what enemies you may think can do, I think you should be good to go.
Okay, and what about you, BB? What do you think about Fearless, and how would you compare it? Is it gonna be better for you? Is it gonna be better for Fnatic if you face each other? If you end up facing each other?
I think Fearless, like as it mentioned, I also thought in the beginning it would be like kind of whatever. But it appeared to be like drastically changing on how you draft, because I feel like certain champions just define your team comp, right? Like I feel like it can be either a long range poke champ that you build around, suddenly you can't have it anymore. It's very interesting. I definitely think, like I feel like it's very nice for me. I like playing a lot of champs. So I'm very excited. I feel like I might be able to pick something that I wanted to play for a long time. I now had the chance. No, I played Riven already, yeah, but
Okay, I
yeah.
missed it.
It's the Timo, it's the Timo,
Anyway.
guys. It's Timo.
No, that does
But
Oh no.
I mean, whether it's better for us or Fnatic, I feel like we're gonna find out. I feel like Dylan's very good at drafting usually. So I'm very excited because I feel like with Fearless, the coach's responsibility got so much, like, more in terms of like what he has to do. Because I feel like if I'm the coach and you're playing a series and you're losing the game and you need to cook up a draft with like 10 champions banned and the winning one as that, I feel like you really can show that you're like the better, like you can really say like coach diff now, you know, like really hard. Because before you could say like you had really insane drafts, right? But it can just be because you have a better structure, right? Or because you know better what is OP. But you can only do it once now with every comp, so you really have to gap the enemy coach like 3 times or like 2 times, I guess, in a best of 3. So I think it's gonna be very interesting. I'm very excited. I'm very sad that it's only for like a split though.
Yeah, this is something I actually we wanted to bring up with Ashi. Like, would you guys like Fearless to stay for longer? Perhaps, you know, there's a lot of controversy about Fearless at Worlds, for example. Of course, we have it only for the first time tournament, but would you like Fearless to stay permanently? Do you think it's good to have it only for half a year? Do you think the current system is enough? Would you like to see Fearless, you know, incorporated for like the whole competitive year of League of Legends? Or do you think that's just shouldn't happen? Do you want to see best players on their best champions, like for example Bin on Jax, like Faker on Azir, like Flakked on I'm sorry for that.
Well,
I can't believe it.
I think it's very good because like you're correct with like some people want to see like Faker's Ari, right? And I think that's really cool. But let's be honest, most players are just not like that. You know, most people are not watching like people to like for the picks, you know. So I think it's better overall as a viewing experience because I do agree it gets boring if you see Cassandra 5 games in a row in either side of the game, and I think it's more responsibility for players and coaches. But in the end, if it keeps the game sustainable because more people are watching, then I would very much welcome it because I think it's also more fun for me to play more champions. It's harder for me. It's more difficult because I have to think more about what I need to do. But it's definitely more fun.
Yeah, I mean it is
Like-
Oh, sorry. Do you wanna?
Oh no, I just wanted to quickly add that it feels like in LCK the Fearless draft has been very, very impactful because typically LCK has a tendency to play the OP champions, like, you know, play to like draft to their standards, and like the Fearless has been forcing teams to like draft more creatively. But while LEC always has been known to, I don't know, pick top Yasuo, pick top Nidalee, and speaking of Faker playing Azir, like, yeah, I love seeing Faker play Azir, but I also want to see him play Ari. I also want to see him play Zed. I also want to see him play Orianna. Like, you know, good players have several champions. Like, you know, I don't want to see Corki versus Azir 5 games. So I know that I'm only making this decision after only watching 1 season of LCK that hasn't even finished, but it's been such a breath of fresh air, and tentatively I wouldn't even mind it getting applied to the whole year, even to Worlds.
Yeah, I think in the end this is entertainment industry, right? And I think that if people don't watch, we don't have jobs, right? I mean, maybe my job is like less influenced by this now technically as a streamer, but in the end, if people don't watch the league at all, I also don't have a job. And for you guys, it's the same thing, right? So because it's an entertainment industry, and because we have, I think, around like 170, 80 champions at this point in League of Legends, and only 10 bans per game, in total. I feel like it would be really, really good to have Fearless Draft for the whole year. I'm like a big Fearless guy. I played it in like a streamer tournament once or twice, and I think it's great. And I think that it actually shows which players are frauds and which players are good. You know, because in the end, if you can play only one champion or two champions, and by game 5 you just don't have anything left, and you actually absolutely can play the game. Because let's say you're Flakked, right, and you can play mages bot lane, but you can also play mages or play AD carries, but he's trying to do these things, right? But he's quite versatile, so he can try these things. BB is quite versatile, he can try these things, but there's players in LEC or players overall in competitive that don't really have these wide champion
Like
pools,
Jankos.
and then, yeah, for example, right? And then I would be exposed as a fraud maybe already 5 years ago because I couldn't play certain champs, perhaps, instead of playing only Sejuani, right? So I would love Fearless Draft to stay. I would love it for the whole year. I think it makes games competitive. Way more fun to watch. Having players pulling out Pantheon jungle, or I think there was like a player who pulled out Nasus, or there was players just like pull out a lot of random picks. I think it's just way more fun, and teams need to adapt, and then lane swaps come into play, and then, you know, mages bot lane or AD carries mid lane. There's so many things that you can experiment with, and I'd love it if it would stick around. What about you, big boy?
I mean, I'm guessing that's me. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it's you.
I'm guessing, yeah. I mean, for me, it's especially with what Ashley said. I think it's like really refreshing, and yeah, I think like some like metas are like really stale. So it's just basically who's gonna get Cassante and who's gonna get Asir and who's gonna get Corki, and you're just gonna watch the same champs playing always the same playstyle. So I think it's I mean, for sure, for like our position is gonna be way harder, and it's like more pressure, and you just need to invest more time on like figuring out what's gonna be the best for the next game. But I think for like you know, like viewership, I think it's only positive. You know, you always get to see new champs. There's always new comps, and yeah, I mean, you only need to watch Cassante for like one game, and that's it.
Only one smolder per game.
Or only one Flakked Varus per series, and then I'm out. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
But you can watch it in the Jankos co-streaming, because he's washed and he's retired. So now it's co-streaming Road, who by the way didn't make playoffs because they have Jankos. So
Yeah,
guys,
and there is
you
one
can
team that
you
the
can
Rogue
watch
did
Jankos.
win against, so could you remind me who it was? Because they only have 1 out of 9 wins.
It's basically, I just wanted you know, to feel what's to win, you know, on your first day at the job. So,
I was very happy, by the way,
you
that
can-
Rogue was winning
you
against
can
Team
consider
Heretics.
it
I
like
was
a little
like,
gift.
yeah. I was like, we are making
Yeah,
playoffs,
it's just a
baby.
little gift.
But we were not making playoffs.
Now I can just testify that whenever Heretics is playing on Jankos is streaming, Jankos does kind of low-key wish the Heretics lose just so you don't get to say.
Yeah, I mean, I know, it's fine. I'm just on his head like rent-free, but it's fine.
No, I'm doing like of course I cheer for G2, I cheer for Heretics, I cheer for Rogue. But you know, sometimes like, yeah, there are like certain matchups in which you know, if Flakked loses, he cannot be cocky, for example, right? Or maybe if G2 doesn't win like the whole 2 years in Europe again, maybe we will have something fresh coming up. Like Fnatic maybe deserves a win because, you know, they have Razork that didn't win for a while. So I do think sometimes change is needed. So I'm not saying I'm not cheering for G2 or Team Heretics in these playoffs, but of course I want to see both of you succeed. But at the same time, you know, we will see how it goes.
How do you feel about that, BB?
Well, I can't change being the best, you know. Like I feel like it obviously does get boring. I understand people like watching it's a team win all the time, but I want to win. You know, if I want to win, I will do everything. I will do everything to win, and if that means that Razork can never win the title, then I'm sorry for him. You know, like I will do my best to prevent that because I'm not playing with him, so why would I give him a trophy? That's my mindset. You know, that's the mindset kind of stuff you need, I feel like,
Yeah.
to be the best.
Yeah.
stay goated type shit.
Real
This
Sigma.
Real
is
Sigma,
not-
yeah.
This is the stuff you say when you give out the team speeches. Stay golden.
No, but I mean that's the truth. I do think I agree with it gets boring. I feel like that is actually an ongoing topic for like I feel like every sport, right? That if a team just wins all the time in their league, that it's boring for a viewer to watch because they were like, why would I watch because the same team is winning anyway? So I feel like it's not our fault. It's the other.
Yeah,
team's
it's
fault.
definitely that's
Not
true, right?
reading it.
Yeah, it's not your fault, guys. I think you are doing a great job. G2 Esports as a whole. Everything you mentioned right during the podcast we had. I do think it's other teams' job to make it happen, right? And I mean, hopefully we will see exciting games. I don't really mind too much. I think you guys are gonna put on bangers, and I also do think that this irritation of Fnatic is very competitive, and you know, so is K-Corp is looking competitive, right? Of course, like both teams have two of your ex-players. They have Yike, they have
He's
Mickey.
low-key supporting Fnatic, by the way.
Bro, I'm like, okay, I'm not low-key supporting Fnatic. I'm not even high-key supporting Fnatic. I just support the best League of Legends played. If the best League of Legends in Europe is played by G2 Esports and by BB as their leader, so be it. I'm gonna be happy either way, right? As long as you guys do a good job in the first time tournament and so on. Because I don't have hope for like the guy right there. Like this, just hopeless. At least on my screen, Flakked is right here, but
Yeah, I mean, in my screen you're like pointing to nothing, but that's completely fine.
yeah, pointing to nothing. So team had
Yeah, well, yeah, it's fine.
Is there anything, Ashi, that you that we skipped? Maybe you feel strongly about before we wrap up the podcast. Is there anything you still want to ask? Maybe.
This is like a one last question to BB, and I'm just like totally curious because this is our third episode in our podcast, and we've been asking opinions on this, but I'm curious what you think. Based on your confidence that G2 does make it to LEC Finals, who's the other team in your head? Is it KC? Is it Fnatic? Is it Koi?
Team Heretics.
I think if
But they can't win.
I think it's Fnatic, and I don't think there's like if you make it to the finals, I think we'll meet Fnatic there. I think KC is strong. I think KC has a lot of potential. I think Caliste has been like living up to the hype, and I think he's actually very talented. But I feel like they need more time. I don't think they have what it takes yet. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think Fnatic is very good. They have experienced players. They have players who won many times before. They have Humanoids who won many times. They have Mickey who won many times. And they have players who have been discussed as the best in their role for a period of their careers. So they are definitely good, you know. Like they are good. They're not Heretics, of course, right?
Of course.
Like they're not Flakked. They can't play Sign bot lane. But
Pacts.
they are good. And I that's my current view of it. I think KC can obviously make it to the finals because I think they are good. If I had to guess one of three teams who would be top three, I would say us three, the teams I just mentioned, and maybe a dark horse Team Heretics. If Flakked like really manages to pull his teammates, be a captain for Team Heretics. Because I'm also watching the vlogs of Team Heretics. I'm a big fan. Nice content. Flakked is carrying the content a little bit, but he's not doing the speeches, so I'm a little bit sad. Next time I would like you to do the speech. I think you would maybe move, when you move a little bit of your heart of the teammates. I think you have the aura to do it, but only if you care.
Okay,
If you don't care,
then I'll do it. Because I'm not Jankos, right? I care about my job. I care about what I'm doing. I care about winning, and the streaming is like really optional for me. So I mean, I can do the speech, but if we lose after my speech, then I'm playing on your downfall.
This is like a random thing, but I always tell players there's no jinxes in esports. If you start believing in one jinx, then you start believing in everything. So there are no.
Well, I had
jinxes.
Jankos in the jungle for 2 years, so let me tell you, I don't really, agree with this. This is
Actually, I can tell you there's actually a total of one jinx in esports. And that's
Okay.
In League of Legends, yeah.
I knew it.
What?
I knew it.
Oh my god. Okay, but there is actually one jinx. That's the world's uniform color. That is so.
Oh yeah,
correct.
there was. Yeah.
it's like
I mean, I don't know the color,
it's
but I read this.
crazy. Like,
What?
do you guys know about it? Like, every second year, either the team with black or white uniform always wins, and it's been the case for like the last 8 years. White, black, white, black, white, black.
What year? Oh wait, last year. What is last year?
Last year was.
Last year T1 won. Was it
It
white?
was
I think it was
no?
white.
It was white, no?
So now it's black,
Yeah, it was
BB.
white, I think.
You gotta pitch it to the higher ups.
Yeah.
It's white. It's black or you
white
remember.
one.
Yeah, that's why G2
Oh, you
uniform was white.
can. Oh yeah.
That's why G2
Well,
uniform
alright,
was
guys.
white. Yeah.
We will,
true
we will,
story.
we will defeat the narrative.
Okay. Good
Oh
luck.
my god.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Nothing, bro. Is nothing, bro.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we had the last question to BB. I don't wanna leave my boy left standing, right? He's gonna have like a short vacation soon anyway, so I wanna give him some love right here. So, what do you think about what do you think about Caliste? Caliste coming in hot, much younger than you, already much more talented, very oppressive in lane. Does not flash every skill shot that is thrown at him. He actually tries to sidestep it. So, do you think Caliste has had a good performance so far? Do you think he's actually gonna show up in playoffs, or do you think his performance might decrease, maybe in more stressful environment?
I mean, I think Caliste is really good. I think it's like exactly what Bibi said. I think he's living up to the hype, and I mean, I just think he will play as good as the team he's playing. If the team can get to a really high level, I think he will be even better. But I think when it comes to like individually at this, I think is really insane. I think so. I just think if they can be, like world's level when it comes to like team game, I think maybe we can even see like even a better version of what he showed already. But I do agree with Bibi that some games they showed like a lot of inconsistencies, and I think they just need more time to be a stronger team. But I think like as an AD carry, I think is really insane.
Random fact, I had really thought that his nickname was based on the champion Caliste for a very long time. Then I realized it's
Should I guys actually tell you a random fact as well about Caliste?
What?
Sure.
Yeah.
So back when he was like a diamond player, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Like a diamond 1 player. I met him on his TFT account. He had his name was Caliste TFT or something, or TFT Caliste. And back then I thought he was just a fanboy, like he was like adding me, And then I was playing TFT, and he was like, "Oh hey, I'm Caliste from like it's my TFT account," and he was like 15 or something, 16 back then.
Aww.
And now he's
He's coming for you now.
fighting. Yeah,
It's going for you. How old
it's
is
a cool story. I don't know if he remembers, but I sometimes remember like this random kind of stuff. You feel me? Like sometimes I forget sometimes like a lot of stuff. Like especially I'm very bad with names. But like certain like really random situations, like I feel like I remember really well,
That happens.
Like MSI Korea, but was it
MSI
something
Korea, it's like not a random, like it was not a random
else?
event.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
We're gonna come back to the event at some point.
At some point, people need to know the truth. What happened, guys? Like I'm just saying.
It wasn't like
At
as
some
bad as you
point-
explained it. Like right now, it sounds way more dramatic than what happened.
At some
Yeah,
point, people need to
making
know
it-
the truth.
What?
you're making it very dramatic.
Oh my god.
That's
It's
right.
not as dramatic. It's more of a funny story, I would
Is
say.
it-
Yeah,
Is it
well,
like-
I mean, funny for some people.
It's funny for
Dramatic
some
experience
people
for
and
others.
very shameful for others, and this is why we will not
Yeah.
mention it. And with this, wait, Ashley, can I wrap it or are you?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so with this kind of
Unless you wanna talk about the MSI incident.
no. No, it was very shameful, and the person responsible never did again and never will. So thank you guys for watching Smite Insight episode 3. with BB. Thank you very much, BB, for coming in. I know you are very busy with your schedule, and we are very sorry that we had to take away time from your solo queue. And I hope that G2 will perform very well in playoffs. Flakked, I'm not that sorry for you. I don't think you will do anything useful anyway. But yeah, thank you for coming in as well, Flakked.
Give me this signal or what?
No, I'm actually very grateful that both of you decided to come and catch up a little bit, but also speak to us before playoffs, as you guys have very important matches in front of you, right? So very happy that you gave us this 1.5 or 2 hours on your free day to discuss with us. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. And I wish you a pleasant rest of your night or day.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.